Hey
Hey
everybody.
guys.
Hi.
Hi. So tonight, as we have posted and you guys have seen, we have April and Tamara. They are the owners of Crohn's Hollow, which is one of our sponsors and the most amazing store I've been in. It's my favorite store to go to.
Yay.
I live in Clearfield and I try to only get my stuff from up there just because the energy is so positive. They're always so nice. It's just a
knowledgeable and helpful.
Yes.
good
Thank you. We appreciate the
place.
compliment.
Thank you.
So let's wait until we get a couple of viewers on here. Okay, we got people on. So, Tamara and April, why don't you guys tell us just a little bit about yourselves?
Okay. My name is Tamara Gold, and April and I are, as you had mentioned, the owners of Crohn's Hollow in Salt Lake. We're located at 3834 South Main Street in South Salt Lake, and we are a metaphysical store. And this means that we sell things for people that follow a path of alternate spiritualities. So if you practice witchcraft or Wicca, or you're a druid, or you follow the Norse paths, any of those alternative spiritualities, generally they are polytheistic, which means that we believe in pantheons of gods and not just a single god form. We work with magic. And magic for us is the ability to use our will and our intention to be able to change fate. The universe will hand you exactly what it thinks that you need to have, and you can either choose to accept that, or you can choose to use magic and your intention to make changes. And the changes is working with spells and spell crafting, and that's precisely what we do. Part of the process of working with alternative spiritualities means that we think outside of the box, and we work with all different kinds of spirit forms. And some of those spirit forms will be working with the dead, which I believe is part of what we're going to talk about tonight. I have been part of the Salt Lake pagan community for more than 20 years.
Calm down, Lydia. Sorry, go ahead.
Poltergeist over there, Lydia?
I was like, is that an aftershock? Oh god.
My chair doesn't stay locked.
Are you okay?
Oh my
Anyway, go ahead.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for the levity.
Yes.
So yeah, that's plenty about me. I'll let April introduce herself.
My name is April. I've been an owner at Crohn's Hollow for 2 years. My mother used to be an owner at Crohn's Hollow, but she passed last September, and kind of just following in her footsteps. May not look like it, but I've been part of the pagan community now for about 25 or so years. And it's an amazing way to support the community, and I love it. I love it. I love working at the store and helping everybody that comes in, figure out the things that they need in order to enrich their lives and get through this time, especially that we're going through right now.
Most definitely.
And that's what I really appreciate about you guys in your store. I don't know if you really remember me, but I remember you guys. I've been in there a bunch of times, and I bought a spirit board for one of the spirit board classes, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't right. And you guys gave me this beautiful, I don't know where I put it, but this beautiful handcrafted one that somehow was cheaper. And you guys were like, we'll give you the extra money back and everything like that. And I was like, no, keep it. Like, this is what I was looking for. The one that I previously purchased, it was one that I wanted, but it didn't mesh with my energy. And this new one, I love it. And that's one thing I like, is you guys aren't in it for the money. You're in it to help people heal, to help people be able to talk to the other side. And you get that energy as soon as you walk into that store, and I love it. So I just had to give you guys props and say thank you, because I absolutely love your store.
Me too.
Yep, I did too.
It's fun. I
Oh,
love
we're
looking
curious
at all the
about
things.
It's hard to go in there when you have a lot of money to spend, because you end up spending a lot of money. So,
Yes.
yes. But I buy incense from you guys, and they're the best incense I think I've ever purchased. So,
See, this is the one I ended up getting. Beautifully handcrafted.
That's pretty.
So nice. And the planchette that came with it is just beautiful. And you let me pick out another one. I picked out a really nice red one that I liked, and it was so genuine of you guys to just, I mean, it probably seemed like a small business deal for you guys, but to me it was a big thing, and I really appreciate that.
Well, that's awesome, Corey. That particular board was created by Goatworks. I recognize her style of work, and we have a lot of things that she creates in the store. A lot of different patterns and trays and boards, and so you should come in and check out some of the other stuff that she has to offer.
Yeah, I think I will.
We really try to support local artisans and people in the community. Just, make sure that we have that element in our store, because we think it's important to, support all of the people, help keep each other standing.
Yeah, 100%.
definitely.
So, how this little episode is called Paganism and the Paranormal. So, has paganism always kind of been around the paranormal, if you will?
Well, there are certainly a lot of crossovers. Paganism is about non-Christian paths. Generally, paganism will predate Christianity, and you will work with a lot of, as I had mentioned, a lot of different god forms and a lot of different spiritual energies. And some of the energies are god archetypes, and some of the energies are, the spirit of what dwells within inside of you. And as people pass away, that their spiritual energy is then set loose. And there are a lot of different beliefs in pagan paths about what that means. There's no true answer about what happens to the spirit and the soul when you die. And none of us know the answer to that until it's our time and we go.
Yeah.
But myself, I firmly believe that when we pass, our spirit and our soul are released. And a lot of times the spirit will get caught. And we had, before we had begun, we had talked a little bit about some of the things we wanted to touch base on. And one of those things is the attachment that our culture has to the dead. In the US particularly, there is a thought that death is taboo, that it's something to be afraid of.
It's bad.
It's not something natural, and when it's totally natural. It's part of the natural process for people to live and then to die. But we in the US don't even use the word dead. If someone dies, we don't say, oh, so and so died. We say they passed away. We can't even use the word. And people don't want to view the body, and they don't want to touch the body, when that is one of the most wonderful and caring things you can do for someone you've loved as they pass, is to take care of their flesh as it gets ready to travel on its own journey. And because we have this really odd relationship with death, we have this attachment to the dead, and we don't want to let them go because we have this deep love for them, and we want to hold that close to us. And that right there will bind the dead to this plane, which is where you guys come in, because you have these spirits that haven't transitioned to where they need to go because other people have been holding them there. And our job as witches is to help the dead cross to where their final destination is. And I guess your job is to what? Identify them, to see if they're caught and why they're caught.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to, I think, 2 seances there. I've been to the spirit board class there, and one of my best friends, Ryan, committed suicide a couple years ago, and I pick him up on EVPs. He's always with me, and he's welcome to be. But I have a special little spot in my heart for Crone's Hollow because he's come through there so many times, and I was embarrassed because I'm in a class of people I'm not familiar with. I didn't want to be like, oh, I want to talk to him, I want to do this, but he has told me multiple times he can come and go as he pleases. When he comes and hangs out with me, it's because he wants to kick it with me. He'll go hang out with his sister, and his sister will call me and be like, dude, I know Ryan was here tonight. And I was like, I believe it. So I had a main point there. But yeah, I guess you were saying that we kind of figure out who we're talking to and everything. And every time I've been there, Ryan's been right by my side every time. And I love that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I think that one of the things that happens is, if we're talking about death culture in the U.S., is, Hollywood has really created this scary thing about anyone who's died, and if someone's dead, or if there's a spirit or a imprint or whatever you call it that's left behind, that it's going to be angry and scary, and it's going to get you and do something to you, and that's just really not the case. And I think there's a lot of fear that gets wrapped up behind the dead, and there really shouldn't be. I mean, if the person isn't fearful when they are alive, they're probably not fearful when they're dead.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people, they get freaked out because it's something that they're not familiar with. And I think working with the dead more and more, it gives you that familiarity, and that you can talk to them, and and not be afraid, and realize that it's just another thing that's out there that we can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest things when people hear that I do it, they're like, oh, that is so scary. And I'm like, really, it's not. It's not a scary thing. It's not.
It's beautiful, in my opinion.
It is. I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I have a coworker that tells me that all the time. He's like, it's just so creepy. And I'm like, honestly, it's not. I mean, at first I was a little nervous about it, but I mean, it's really not that scary. TV makes it sound scary, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure if we added all the scary music and all the different stuff while we're investigating, then yeah, probably freak someone out. But we're there with the utmost respect, and we don't want to. We're in their realm, or we're trying to reach over to their realm. So I'm not gonna be rude and demand you pound on a wall. If you want to talk to me, cool. If you don't, you don't know me. That's fine. You don't got to talk to me. So
This is one of the things that I appreciate about M&L Paranormal is we have, hosted events at Crohn's Hollow, and we've worked with you on several different occasions. And every single time there has been respect for the spirit world.
Mhm.
I've never seen you guys demand anything. I've never seen you be disrespectful or confrontational to the entities that are there. And it's an amazing thing, and it's very caring and very professional. And so, kudos to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, for sure.
My biggest thing when I went into this, and I watched a lot of the TV shows, is how do you treat people in life? Do you talk to them? You go into someone's house. Hi, my name's Lydia. How are you doing? When you're introducing yourself to someone, you don't go in guns blazing and demanding stuff. To me, I treat them as if I would any other person. Even the grumpy ones, I've treated the same way.
Just follow the golden rule. I don't know why that's such a hard thing for people to do in their everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Just treat people how you want them to
Because
treat
it's
you.
not good TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And before I started actually being fortunate enough to actually come out and do investigations, even then I was like, why are you being so mean? Like, you're talking to someone who's like 300 years old. You think of a little 95-year-old grandma, imagine that times 3, because she's 300 years old. She's probably some frail little scared person. You want to hug her. You don't want to yell at her.
Mm-hmm.
So I just never got that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. One of the things that Crohn's Hollow does is in conjunction with the Earth Haven Coven, we offer a Samhain ritual each year. And I don't know, I don't know if you guys have been to the Samhain ritual before, but its purpose is to open up a portal for the dead to come and gather and give final messages. And part of that process is we have seers that are psychics that will act as a conduit for the final messages from the dead. And the messages that come through are almost always those of caring. They will express their remorse over not having treated someone well, or they will simply say, I love you. They're almost always messages of kindness. So I don't understand why anyone would not reciprocate that. And then the end part of the ritual is us assisting them and letting them know we're going to open a doorway for you to sail through to get to your final destination. And we open that doorway and we can guide them through if they choose to go. It's never a forced thing. We're not shoving them to the other side and kicking them out of this realm. We're saying we've opened the door for you if you'd like to step through.
I would love to go to that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've been to one. I think every time they've come up, we've had something.
Yeah, it usually comes around Halloween. I bet you guys are
Yeah.
busy.
Are you going to be doing it this year?
Well, that's the thing. This year, we're probably going to do it differently in that we're going to, I imagine, we're going to do something where we can set up an altar for people to work with. And then during the ritual, we're thinking about trying to put it live so that everybody can still hop online and work with the altar that they've already connected with from their home, because we don't know how to facilitate that with the amount of people that are going to need to work with it this year, with everything that's been going on. So we're thinking, we're trying to brainstorm about some, with some ways that we can do that so that we can still facilitate the work that needs to be done for people in the community, for the people who've crossed over. We're going to figure something out.
Yeah. Right now, it seems like we're probably going to set the altar up well before the ritual. probably a week or two ahead of time, and then allow people to come in and work with the altar one-on-one, so we don't have to worry about social distancing. And then on the evening of the ritual, people can just tune in from their homes, and we will then open the portals and help the dead pass through.
That's
So
cool.
it might be a really interesting watch. I don't know what will be caught on camera.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome.
I just want to say for our viewers that might not know what Samhain is, it's a lot of times confused with Sam Hain because that's kind of how it's spelled. So it's like the intro to Halloween type thing, if I understand correctly. Not
our
necessarily
new year.
Halloween. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's our new year. It's the new year on the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's which is year ends, and it is the final harvest.
Okay. I apologize about that. I thought I knew, but learn something new every day.
Well, and it does coincide with Halloween.
Yep.
I mean, if you think about that, many Wiccans will observe Samhain on November the 1st or even October 31st, and then some witchcraft covens will go to the more traditional date of November 5th or November 7th. So somewhere in that general area.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, definitely. I think that's going to be a good thing. I think that'll be interesting to see what the doing it live this year's been kind of crazy with having to figure out how to work things and still keep people involved. So I think stuff like that's going to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be kind of cool to see what's on camera, and then after the live's done, to go back and replay it and see if anything was caught on the replay. So I'll be replaying it if you have a live. I will go in and watch it after the fact as well.
Yeah. Well, and we can talk as we figure out how this process is going to work. We may be able to have you guys put some equipment in the room, even if other people
That would be
aren't
cool.
there.
Yeah. Recorders and stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we haven't allowed recording equipment in the past because live people have been in the room, and we don't want to, out anyone. That may be in the broom closet, and we don't want to display people's grief, because part of the process is a way for the living to work through their grief as they release their loved ones. So, but there will be no living in the room, so this may be a different opportunity.
Cool.
And if we do catch anything, I don't know, Lydia, I'm sure we're on the same page with this. We'll run it by you before we post anything or do anything with any of our recordings if we do have an opportunity to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in what other ways does does paganism kind of tie in with the paranormal? Would you say like cleansing rites and like salt in the drain, stones, all that kind of thing is paganism, or is that something different?
Good question.
Very good question.
I think that if you go back and you go back in history, a lot of stuff that people still practice, it's all folk culture and old wives' tales and superstition and things like that are still practiced today that are all tied into paganism. Having a broom behind your door, or throwing salt over your shoulder, or hanging a horseshoe above your entryway, things like that. They're tied into superstition, but they're also tied into some pagan beliefs, that have to do with crossing thresholds and, protection and things like that. And I feel like, through all that folk culture, a lot of that stuff ties in with the paranormal and, people trying to keep the spirits away and the fairies away and the things that go bump in the night. to protect their family. And just, as we've evolved, we've come to understand it better because we have the tools to do so.
Yeah. I like the way
It's
you
a
answered
really
that.
good observation.
Yeah.
Before we went live, we were talking a little bit about the color haint blue.
Mhm.
And there is a link on the Crohn's Hollow Facebook page where you can read an article about haint blue. But really, the color blue was meant to replicate either the sky or the water. And the sky and the water would keep spirits at bay. It would send them up into the sky away from you, or they would think that the body of water was there and they couldn't cross it, so they would stay away from you.
Oh,
And so that color was a protection to keep spirits from adhering to you and carrying you off to different places.
interesting.
Again, another superstition that carries through. Someone had mentioned on one of the comments on that particular post that, in my grandma's house, all the kids' bedrooms were painted that light blue. And I thought about this, and my bedroom was painted light blue when I was little. And I just wonder if that's a carryover.
Mine was my dad was in the military, and we were stationed in Germany for a while. And my room was the same color blue as it was when we came back to Utah. And it was just like Lydia's back wall there. And I just liked it because my favorite color is blue. I had no idea. I'm definitely going to go through and read that article after this.
Yeah.
And I just shared it to our page for anybody watching as well. I just shared it straight from the Crohn's Hollow page onto our M&L page as
Good
well.
looking out.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, really great information in it. Blue paint and how it was hard to make, and yeah, just really, really good stuff.
That's cool. I had no idea when this. It's funny because growing up, I had the sky blue room as well. My bedroom upstairs, my mom painted that one blue when she moved into the house because it was my brother's room. And then when I was born, it was my room because it was right next to hers. So I've never thought about that. And she's never changed the color. That's the one room that's always stayed the same color, blue. So I don't even think she knows that, but it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Protection.
So Leanne put, and maybe she can elaborate on this, she put in the comments rituals and then a question mark.
Can you, Leanne, can you kind of,
I can message her and ask her to kind of elaborate on that.
well, hey, April and Tamara, I'm sorry if I'm
Yes.
asking really weird questions or anything like that. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while, so I'm stoked that we can finally sit down and talk about this and kind of clear up some questions that I personally have. So maybe that'll help some of our viewers kind of understand what's going on. So I just wanted to say thank you for your patience in advance with my weird questions that are probably going to come up.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I sent her a message asking her if she could kind of elaborate on what she meant by rituals. Some of the good questions are the biggest one that I think, I know Crohn's Hollow, they host a spirit board class.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody out there, whatever your beliefs are, I highly recommend attending this class because all of my team members were honestly horrified of a spirit board, afraid to use it because they've heard all these stories. They took the class and guess what? All of them own one now.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was a blast. I still have a couple questions on what to do, but that's for another time entirely. It'll probably be the next class that you guys are able to offer. Because there were just some things I didn't fully grasp the concept of, and I wouldn't want to do it wrong. It is. You guys were kind of like, here's 400 things. Good luck.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, we gonna learn today.
Yeah, we get people daily that come into the store and they see the spirit boards, and I think it's the one thing that we carry that people are the most freaked out about. And I think we have Hollywood to thank for that. There
100%.
were a couple movies surrounding, the Ouija boards and the spirit boards that were really pretty scary. But yeah, it's the one thing. And so, I love that we offer this class. Like, don't we do it like at least twice a year?
Yeah, as many Friday the 13th as there are in the year.
Yep.
So every Friday the 13th, we will have one of these classes. So I think the next Friday the 13th is either in
I'm gonna say it's
October, November, or December, whenever it is. We will have the spirit board class. We may have limited seating because of social
November.
distancing, but the class will be held, and it will be held in person and not via Zoom. So
Sweet.
we'll just have appropriate social distancing to make that happen.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Even
show
the
up like
really
it's-
large stage for it.
Yep. I'll be at that one.
Me
I'm
too.
gonna show up like it's Black Friday, first thing in the door, pushing people down, like I'm doing it.
So Leanne elaborated on her question. She says use of rituals to detour attachments.
Well, a ritual is actually
All right.
I don't think that a ritual would be the appropriate tool.
I mean, I think that the only ritual to really detour the attachment that is at Samhain, because it's when you do kind of let go of your attachment to that loved one, to that person, so that they also don't feel attached to you, because it's not only their attachment to, what's going on in the world because they've just passed on or they've just died or whatever, if it was tragic or peaceful, however that happened, but the other person, the loved one's attachment to them also kind of holds them here as well. So Samhain is the best ritual for that letting go.
Mhm.
And then there is also the dumb supper
Mhm.
ritual. It's a 40-day after someone has passed. You take 40 days to mourn that person and to hold them close to your heart and to remember them and to cry and be angry and be
Grieve.
sad and grieve. And then at the end of that 40 days, we call it a dumb supper. And you basically have a supper in honor of the person that you're letting go, and you let them know quietly without speaking. You share a meal with them, and you let them pass. You
Yeah.
let them go.
I'm really
No.
glad that you brought up the dumb supper, because I have a couple questions about that. Really good friend of mine, we went to junior high together. Like, she's been one of my best friends since I was in 7th grade. And she lost her mom earlier this year, like right after COVID started. So she wasn't able to go out to Florida to go to the funeral. She hasn't been sure how to mourn it. I did some research on it, and from what I found, you have to do it between a specific date. Is that correct, or is that?
The dumb supper is traditionally 40 days from the time of passing. So you just count
Oh.
out 40 days on the calendar, and that's when you do the dumb supper. And the belief is that it takes 40 days for the spirit to fully transition from one realm to the next. So when a baby is born, you have the living flesh, but the spirit doesn't fully inhabit that body until 40 days. This is
Oh.
why Catholics wait 6 weeks before they do baptisms.
Oh,
Okay.
And then when a
Makes
person
sense.
passes, there is a 40-day period where the soul is transitioning the other direction.
so if it's been,
if you get 41 days or 43 days, it's okay.
what if it's been like
39 probably okay.
6 months? Is that way too long, or can you still do it in honor?
Yes,
Do
you
it.
can totally do it, because even if you've never, like, we're doing a dumb supper every year, just for people. I mean, you don't. If it's been a long period of time and you've never done one,
Do it.
do it.
Okay.
It's not gonna
Absolutely.
it's not gonna hurt anything, and you're gonna have a great meal, and it's gonna be peaceful and quiet.
All right,
And,
thank you for that. I'm gonna make sure she watches this because I really think this will help. Because I mean, her and
Yeah,
her
and I
mom
think-
were like this, so
Yeah.
for that to
And I
happen,
think this ties in exactly to what Leanne was asking about using ritual as part of working with the dead in whatever way. The dumb supper
Yeah.
is a ritual. It's a way for you to make a connection and to let go and to honor them. The Samhain ritual, again, you make that connection, you let go, and you honor them. To detour attachments or to defer them, a lot of that is just preparation. We have so many people that come into the store and they will have, your garden variety haunting in their home. And they come in and they, say, oh, I have a ghost or I have, some spiritual activity or I have a demon or whatever it is that they say. And a lot of it is not even the dead. It is just like a house brownie. And a house brownie is not the same as being haunted by someone who, was murdered in their sleep.
did you say a house brownie?
House
Yeah.
brownie. Mhm.
Like a
Yeah,
brownie?
like a fairy.
I've never heard
not
that
like
word.
a brownie.
Well, I've heard the word brownie,
I
but
know they giggle at it.
I'm sorry. I just
A
wanted to
brownie
make sure I didn't
is- a
accidentally have a
brownie is
fat kid moment.
Oh, Corey, I love you. A brownie is a spirit form. It's part of the fairy world.
like a sprite,
Yeah, brownies and sprites and
Oh.
fairies and
little mischievous creatures.
little imps.
Okay.
I'm very intrigued by sprites. I can't remember what. Sorry to bring up movies, but there's some movie where she has to follow a sprite. I think it might be Brave.
It's brave. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that because I was like,
Yeah.
I know what I'm familiar with that. Like, granted, it's a Disney movie for children, but I was.
Brave. Oh, you
I
mean
mean, there's.
Merida with the hair?
Yep.
Merida? Yeah,
Yep.
she was following the will o' the wisp.
Yes.
Will-o'-the-wisp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That
Yeah,
is.
no, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, the will o' the wisp is a form of sprite or fairy.
And I
because they
feel like
lead
I've
you.
seen one before in the Uintas. I don't know if that's a legit thing, but I remember seeing a little light, and like I don't think we have lightning bugs out here.
We
Well,
don't.
apparently we do on Antelope Island, but it was like way up in the mountains, and I just remember feeling like an energy. I was real young, maybe 11, but that's just always kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, I'm from the Midwest, and so yeah, I know lightning bugs when I see them. But will-o'-the-wisps are actually a swamp gas phenomenon, and it has to do with these fluorescent lights that come up, like almost like bioluminescence.
Mm-hmm.
And so the will-o'-the-wisps are a very real thing, and a lot of times if you get in swampy areas, you'll see them. Did you ever see them in Louisiana, April?
No, just lightning bugs.
Yeah,
I don't
like,
not lightning. They're just fireflies.
yeah, same
Big
thing.
fat fireflies.
My sister and my mom live in. My mom lives in Florida, and my sister lives in Alabama. And after my parents got a divorce, I had to fly down there every year. And I'd land in Louisiana, and we'd do the whole French Quarter thing and all the cemeteries and stuff. I don't recall seeing any of those after that happened. But I'm gonna have to call my sister tonight and see if she ever remembers any of that. Because if it's down in the South, I mean, that's where my whole family is.
Road trip.
Let's do it.
Well,
Do it.
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
Yes, me too. Oh my goodness, that would be awesome.
And you might have to get even down into Florida for that, into that kind of swampiness. Like I don't know, mostly big fat fireflies is That's what I remember when I was living there.
Yeah, and that's the whole Sprite brownie thing. So how did we get to brownies?
Sorry,
Oh, house
I had a
brownies.
fat kid moment.
Corey
And
wants a brownie.
you said that
Corey really
it's
wants
just
a
a
brownie.
normal house brownie, and that caught me off guard when they come in thinking that it's something demonic or negative or bad, and then you said it's a normal house brownie, and I was like, a what? So, okay, back on track. My bad.
So
I have a tendency
those
of doing
kind of
that.
energies, I try to keep those fairies and things outside. I don't bring them into my house. And we put up little guards for them. We created a space at Crohn's Hollow. We have a fairy garden in the back, which is a place that we've set up for those entities so they don't come in the building because they're really mischievous and they'll move all of your stuff.
That would make me nuts.
I've heard they're quite the jokers.
That would make me nuts, them moving my stuff, because I have everything in a specific spot, so I would probably go crazy if they did that to me.
Yep, me too.
And so a lot of times that's what people are encountering as they think that they may have, ghosts or whatever else that they have going on. So, how does that relate to your work? When you do an investigation and it is just, a fairy form, what is it that you guys find? What do you see?
I personally haven't ran across that yet.
Neither have I.
I have been, like I said, interested in sprites, and I'm still not sure about fairies because, I think of a fairy like Tinkerbell, or something similar to that, which is unfortunately in popular culture has become something that is childish and probably not real. I understand. I have heard stories on multiple podcasts about fairies and fairy circles with the mushrooms and all kinds of different things. So if I ever did encounter one, my first thought would be fear because I don't know how to handle the situation.
My first thought would be to call Tamara if I ever encountered one.
Straight up. Exactly. Yes.
That she would be on my first thought to call.
When you have a Google moment, look up the Seelie and the Unseelie courts of fairies. And you'll learn a little bit because there are light fairies and dark fairies. So fear is probably a good response.
So the Seelie, sorry, I'm going to write this down.
Is
Seelie
it
and
Seelie?
Unseelie.
Seal like a gasket?
Well, Seelie. Seelie
Okay.
and Unseelie.
Wow, that's crazy. I actually spelled it right.
And the Seelie court rules for half of the year, and the Unseelie court rules for half of the year.
Okay.
Have you had
not all fairies
any?
are nice in Tinkerbell.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced any fairy? Would they be called entities, or would they just be called fairies?
They're just fairies.
Have you ever encountered any?
Yes, quite
Really?
a few times. And
Both sides?
Pardon?
Both sides, good and mean?
Yes.
Mm.
And sometimes it's hard to tell them apart, other than the time of the year that they're present.
Okay.
You treat them all with respect,
Yeah.
but you keep them away from you.
Now, when I get scared, everybody at my shop thinks it's so funny to scare me.
It is funny, I'm not going to lie. It's funny.
It is funny. But I automatically turn into a sailor, if you know what I'm saying. So I would hate to accidentally offend an entity because I was like, you blankety blank, 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 because they scared me. So is there like a way to, well, I guess if this ever happens, I'm calling you and then you can just walk me through. So
Set up a place for them and give them something nice.
They like beer.
Yeah, they like beer.
Beer.
They like honey.
There you go.
They
I
like
see nothing wrong with fairies now. What's up?
Well,
I don't have anything going on Saturday.
fairies dwell in liminal spaces. And liminal space is where two things meet. So where the sidewalk meets the grass, or where the day meets the night. So they're very present in sunrise and sunset, where the outside meets the inside. So sometimes you'll find them like in your windowsills outside. Thresholds.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so when you find a place like that that's a threshold, put like a little half of an eggshell out there for them to sit on. And then a little bit of milk or a little bit of honey, and then they'll be really happy outside. Give them a silver coin every once in a while so they don't take your silver. And when you do that, then you don't have to worry about offending them because you've recognized them and you've given them an offering.
That's cool.
Is it wrong to think that they're cute? Because like to give them a little eggshell to sit in and like a little bit of honey, like that's adorable. Like
I don't think all fairies are small, though. I mean,
oh, see, and that's another thing I didn't realize. I just assumed because I'm not familiar with this. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I agree
ask
with
a dumb
April. They're not
question.
all little tiny.
no, I mean, when you talked to, you listen to the folk culture over in Europe, a lot of times the fairies over there are described as, human sized or even bigger.
Or sometimes like hobbits would be considered part of the fae.
And trolls.
And trolls.
Things
I
like
have heard
ogres.
that gnomes, like garden gnomes, kind of got their start because of fairies. Is that not right? Because your guys' facial expression makes it seem like it's not right.
No, it's absolutely right.
Okay.
A lot of the fairy lore probably began with the Pictish people in the northern parts of Scotland. They were a small stature, and they painted themselves blue with woad, and they were very fierce. And so some of the lore, I think, came from that.
Oh, wow.
Is that
So
where
my niece's fear of gnomes is probably a valid fear because she's like deathly afraid of them. Any kind of gnome. It was great when she was living here.
So they would paint themselves blue.
Well,
Was
they would
that-
paint themselves with woad, and woad is a flower. And when you take the flower and you make paint or tincture out of it, and you paint yourself with it, it turns your skin blue. And the reason they did that is because as they went into battle, woad has antiseptic properties. So if you were wounded,
and it also helps you travel. It's a traveling thing.
yes, that's true too.
Yep.
Wow.
I have
like
so much to
mugwort
learn from
or-
you guys. This is incredible.
They could berserk because they were painted in woad because it pushed them to that extreme while they were in battle. And they had no fear and they could just go crazy.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm taking over this this interview. This is going to be a 6-hour interview because I have so many questions. But no, for
you
real,
are
like
welcome to stop by the store anytime.
Yep.
We're happy to sit down with you. Or you can drop me an email or April an email. Just send us an email at inquiries@croneshollow.com and we'll do everything we can to get you an answer for any questions you might come up with.
okay,
Send us a message on Facebook. You can call, stop by. We have great sales witches behind the counter. Juriken and Micheline and Peggy and Ty are all very experienced practitioners.
Yep.
So we have lots of different perspectives for you.
did you say one girl's name was Micheline?
Micheline, yeah.
Yeah.
Micheline.
We
Does
know
she have,
her.
like, a shape? Yeah, she came on the investigation with me. I really liked her. We got along really well, and I think she explained a lot of things during the investigation that totally made me look like a badass. So you got to tell her that I appreciate her explaining stuff.
Yeah, Micheline's she's really good.
Sweet. Well, do any of our viewers have any last questions for April and Tamara before we sign off with them? We'll give them a few minutes. I think there's like a 30-second lag from us to them.
Can I just say, I find this so amazing. I've never heard of these things. A lot of these things, I'm not as knowledgeable as my husband here with this. And this is something I really want to look into. It's everything you've talked about. So I appreciate you guys
Go lay down.
for letting us know all this.
Go lay down.
And I know that you guys have books
All right.
in your store too that I'm sure goes over a lot of this as well. I mean, we even happen to have a paranormal investigating book in there that I believe Stephanie bought.
Yep, I did.
It's like Intro to Paranormal Investigating, which I thought was pretty cool. I have the book too. I haven't had a chance to get to reading it, but they have so many good books that will help give you knowledge as well. And Leanne says, thank you for always being so helpful.
And like, I don't know how many times I've gone in there with just a dumb question. Like, what's the difference between sage with lavender and Palo Santo versus sage with like frankincense? Like, obviously it's because one has frankincense, but like, what's the benefit of either one? And you guys have broken it down into a way where I can understand it. And I'm like, oh, so, you know, I'm dealing with this, and this, I need this one. And I just appreciate your staff. You guys' store is awesome. Your staff is awesome.
Yeah.
I try to share as many things as I can from your page just because you guys are amazing. And you've always been so helpful to me. And it's like, I kind of look like everybody disagrees with me on the team, but I kind of feel like I look like a rough guy. So like, to come in and not be treated any different is very, very uncommon for me, you know, because if I go I've been to other stores that sell sage and rocks and stones and everything, and they're just like, get the hell out. I don't know what you're doing here, but you're not going to be able to steal a marble today.
No.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not here to do anything. I have no bad intention. And not once in the 3 or 4 years I've been going to your store have I ever felt any judgment, animosity, any sort of like you guys were watching me like a hawk. And that is, I just love you guys. Your store is amazing. Your employees are awesome. I just cannot say enough good things about you guys.
My daughter asks all the time, can we go to Crohn's Hollow? And I'm like, yes, let's go. So I take my daughter there all the time too.
That's always the right answer, Steph.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. That's where I buy a lot of my stones. I know through this whole COVID thing, I've had a hard time getting product in. And I'm getting low on stones, so I'm going to have to come buy some. But you guys I looked all over the valley for those little quartz points, just the little teeny tiny ones.
Yep.
And everybody was charging like $3 or $4 for a little teeny tiny one. And this was at like rock shops, you know, places that you would think. So Sam's like, well, let's try Crohn's Hollow. And you guys had them for like, I think they were like 10 cents a piece.
How dare you not go there first,
Right?
young lady?
Well, I wasn't expecting them to have that. Usually I go to my rock shops for first. I didn't even know where to go because usually I order them online from a supplier, and I had no idea that they sold them for that. So now I buy them from them. I went in and stocked up. I think I spent like $20 worth. So I'm good. But a lot of the stuff I make with the stones that I have in them come from Crohn's Hollow. So anytime you guys buy something like an organite that has a stone in it, it comes from Crohn's Hollow.
Nice.
So I like to support them.
The only
We got in
stones
some
I
nice little aquamarine cubes today. You should come check them out.
Oh yes. Oh, you had me an aquamarine. I like the blue stones, the blues and the blacks.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous.
The only stones that I don't get from Crohn's Hollow are my gauges that I wear in my ear. And I've been going through some stuff, so I got howlite in right now because I need to get my head chakra back up and going. Other than that, all of my stones, except for the bracelets Lydia makes me, well, those might even come from Crone's Hollow. I don't know. But all the stones that I carry with me every day, they all come from Crone's Hollow. And
Same with me. My little bag that I carry, all the stones came from Crone's Hollow.
Yep.
We appreciate your support.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And when I was looking for sponsors for the team, there wasn't a doubt in my mind. Crone's Hollow was the first one that popped into my head because I wanted to hook up with the store like that. And I've known you guys for 8 years now. When I started my team, I remember painting. The first time I was really introduced to your stores when we were painting a booth for Comic-Con. And you guys let us for the booth there, and we were painting it and decorating it and getting it ready to go. And that was my first time really experiencing Crone's Hollow, and I fell in love with it. And I think when we were thinking about that, you guys were the first ones that popped into my head to ask to be our sponsor, and we were so honored when you agreed. It was just, it made our little hearts happy.
We love our association with you.
Yeah.
Hey, I see that Leanne has another question. She said she is looking for a besom, which is a broom. And we do have, I believe we have at least 1 or 2 brooms. We also will be doing a broom making workshop sometime in the latter part of the year, where people can come in and make their own besom.
Which is really important. If I mean, you can buy them and it's great. Some people collect them, but making your own is way more potent, more powerful. It you know, you put it together yourself, so all of the energy that you're using that broom for, whether it's really, sweeping your house or energetically sweeping your house or doing it both at the same time, if you make it yourself, it's a lot better.
She
So
says,
you-
sign me up. Yes.
Sign me up too.
like legitimately sweep your house with them, or was that metaphorically?
No, yeah, I mean, because that's what you use a broom for. I mean,
Well,
unless
yeah, I mean,
so yeah, but
I
mean,
just
think
realized
about
how stupid that question was. I'm sorry.
it. It's like
I'm
birds
sorry.
one stone. So, if you have a broom that's magical, why wouldn't you use it to sweep your house with as you're cleaning? You're also cleaning the energy there, and if you've made it yourself, even better. I mean, and we have small brooms. We have tiny ones that people can use on their altars, and
I've seen those.
Rearview mirror in your car.
yeah. I have
I
one
think I have a
hanging
pen.
in my rearview
Do
mirror.
you guys sell the broom pens?
We put the broom pens in our house cleansing kits.
Yeah,
I think I have one.
I know. I've got a couple of them.
Oh, I have one sitting for raffles when we start doing events again. But that is, I forget we're backwards. That is the Crone's Hollow cleansing kit. And it comes with it's got some Florida water, sage, a bell, some incense, a broom, chalk. I'm not sure what else is in here. I don't want to open it. Instructions, yes, right there on the back.
So
Yeah. You're probably going to want to put a fresh stick of incense in there. Stop by and I'll give you a package.
Okay, perfect. I can do that.
as a male, is it okay to make a broom, or is that not the same? Will it give it weird energy because of, I don't know how far back this goes, but that's another thing that I've been kind of interested in with paganism, is a lot of it seems to be cultured around females. Is that correct?
Yes and no. So, because of paganism is it's a term that encompasses such a wide variety of beliefs. I feel like there are some, there are some beliefs where it's very, female heavy, and some that are very male heavy, and then there is also a duality. So I guess at that point it depends on what you're practicing. Where, like, let's say druids, for example, would be predominantly male, and Wiccans might be predominantly female because of the goddess worship and the moon worship.
Okay.
There are a lot of witchcraft traditions where it's a huge duality, and the male and female and the yin and yang aspect. It all keeps everything in balance. So I mean, I don't really think, in my opinion, that it should matter whether you're male or female. If you want to make a broom, make a broom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just think it'd be.
And that, I believe that to hold true through everything.
I really, just for listeners and everybody, I did not mean that to be offensive or sexist or anything like that. It was just a legit question that I've been thinking about.
No offense
No
taken.
offense taken. It's totally
So-
legit, because there are beliefs out there that are female heavy and male heavy, and there are a lot that aren't. And it's just, who knows? But I mean, it's a totally legitimate question.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I wanted to know.
Yeah, that's a good question. That was a really good one, Corey.
Like I said, I've been looking forward to this interview for a while. Maybe we'll need to have you guys on again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Most
Let us
definitely.
know.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Leanne. I appreciate
Yes.
that. She said
Thank you.
no offense. So thank you.
I think
I
that's
know I
another
say the
thing
wrong
that
thing at the wrong time a lot.
I think Hollywood kind of plays into that one too again, because when you see these shows that have to deal with that kind of, I know they're made up for Hollywood, but when I grew up as a teenager, The Craft was a big movie. It was all female.
Mhm.
Practical Magic, all female. You didn't
Yeah.
see a lot of male in it. And as I've been getting to know Crohn's Hollow, I see a lot of men that are it's kind of cool, because growing up, that's what I thought too. It was all females that practiced it. I didn't know that guys did it as well, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as very open-minded. So if I can learn different ways to do different things, I mean, why wouldn't I take that opportunity to further my education?
Exactly.
So
There you go.
Cool. Well, we are going to end and let them go, because we've had them on for an hour now. We want to thank everyone for watching. We do want to give a shout out. We always try to give a shout out to some of our fellow paranormal people out there.
my boy Sam in the house.
Yes, Beyond the Grave Paranormal, M&L Paranormal will be out at Benson Grist with them this Friday night. So the two teams are going to merge. They're going to hit. Beyond the Grave has invited us to come out with them, so we accepted. And they're going to be doing a live out there, so be sure to watch. I will share their page. I haven't done it yet, but I will share their page on our page, so you guys can go and find them and follow them, so you can see that live. But we're really excited for that. We like collaborating with other teams, and
Love it.
yeah, it's the best. So
Unity. That's what this world needs. Unity.
yes,
be
now more
separated
than
anymore.
ever. Definitely.
what I'm saying.
Agree.
Cool. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. We appreciate you, and we will see you on Sunday at 4.
Thank you, April and Tamara.
Yeah, thanks,
Yes,
guys.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.